Well, the Kasem family feud continues. Talking about money, two judges have expanded the powers of Casey Kasem's daughter.
It is a ruling his wife is not happy about. Andy Rose has the latest.
Shame on these children. Shame.
Casey Kasem's wife, Jean, did not hold back her anger following a guardianship hearing Friday. She and stepdaughter Carrie Kasem faced off in a Washington court over the right to determine medical care for the ailing disc jockey.
He now has a stage 3 bed sore. He has a lung infection and a bladder infection from probably being moved.
Jean Kasem maintains that her husband is receiving proper medical care and that he's devastated by the in-family fighting.
My husband is an American treasure. He wanted to go out strong. He wanted to leave beautiful memories. That was all torn apart today.
Earlier this month, the California court granted Carrie temporary exclusive conservatorship over her father. Prior to the ruling, Jean Kasem removed her husband from his nursing home and disappeared.
He was ripped out of that facility and taken across state lines somewhere. We don't know.
The two were later found at a friend's home in Washington state. For now, Carrie Kasem has been granted the right to visit her father in Washington and take him for medical care. The judge will listen to arguments next week as to whether the California conservatorship order will be held up in Washington. I'm Andy Rose reporting.
And joining us this morning, our lawyer in blue jeans, Jeff Isaac. And as we were watching that, you were shaking your head. Because I know what you're going to say. This doesn't have to happen. You deal with this all the time.
It doesn't have to happen, and it is extremely sad. I mean, you know, the America's Top 40, Casey Kasem, an icon, American icon, is being just ridiculed and ripped apart in front of the public in a situation where he's so vulnerable. And you've got the stepwife, or the wife, his wife now, and the stepdaughters fighting over his welfare, and it's unbelievable to me to see this occur because it does not have to happen.
How does a judge balance that? You've got wife, you've got daughter. I mean, those are both very strong ties.
They are very strong ties, and quite frankly, the judge is going to have to make decisions based on what's the best interest of Casey Kasem. And maybe and I assume they probably all love him in their own ways, but when they get on the air, and they didn't show this in this clip, but they actually had a part where the wife had a cell phone and played him where he was recorded crying and moaning, and it's disgusting. And she says, you know, the kinds of things that she said, and I'm not taking sides here, I'm just saying that with a conservatorship, it is absolutely unnecessary, and we talk about this sometimes because that's kind of work I do, where it's living trust, and all of these things will privatize and control people when things like this go bad, where you don't have to go in front of a court and the general public and ridicule everybody, including Casey Kasem, and just create this nonsense. You're right. I am disgusted by this whole situation.
Now, later this month, they're going back into court to hear who will get conservatorship. There's one in Washington with the wife. There's one here in California with the stepdaughter. Where do you think it'll go?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, basically, California gave the daughter temporary conservatorship. Then all of a sudden, for lack of a better word, the stepmom kidnaps Casey Kasem, brings him to Washington.
Essentially, right?
Essentially, although I guess medical care was being provided. And a Washington judge is going to say, will a California court decision be upheld? I don't know. All I know is one thing, that no matter what decision the court makes, Casey Kasem's integrity and all of that, which he would have never wanted this to happen. And it is blown up in front of the public, and quite frankly, it's degrading, it's disgusting. And again, it's avoidable. Anybody out there that wants control, you can avoid this with the living trust, with the powers of attorney and health care. All of those kinds of things. Avoid all these court proceedings and privatize and give you dignity in the end of your life, or things like this that may be happening.
Jeff, great advice. Money certainly makes people do some pretty awful things, so it's good to be proactive.
You bet.
And we hope this all works out for the best of Casey Kasem.
I hope so. I just wish this would just go away right now. Yeah.
Right. Lawyer in blue jeans, Jeff Isaac, thanks for being with us this morning.